Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 4 of our Let's Learn series for Victoria 3, where we'll be playing through a full game from start to finish and going over every single mechanic in great detail and following it through how it feeds through the entire game, kind of the economic and our nation's economy and its political system. So we'll follow through every one of our decisions slowly and methodically. Which is why we're in episode 4, so 3 hours in, and we're only in December 1st, 1836. But let's go ahead and unpause to change that. And yeah, I guess as a quick summary, guys, since it's episode 4, maybe if you just clicked on the video. But I do encourage you to go and watch the first 3 episodes because I do go over many of the basics mechanics and how they feed again through the game. That's why we only got it to December so far. But broadly speaking, we're playing as Serbia, a one-state minor in Eastern Europe, wedged between Austria and Ottomans. Our strategic goal for the playthrough is to gain independence from the Ottoman Empire and reunite kind of the Serbian people that live in the kind of 5 provinces here to the south, north, and west of Serbia, and build up, our glorious Serbian nation. To that end, we know we're gonna need to take on the Ottoman Empire and eventually Austria. Let's go ahead and pause here, and we see improved relations with Russia can no longer be maintained due to relations between Russia and Serbia. It's now greater or equal to 50. So let's go ahead and just leave that there and pause back. And as I was saying, they're probably not going to give us these states, for nothing. So we're going to have to fight for them. In order to fight for them, we need a military. In order to have a military, we need first of all, we need to industrialize our economy, increase our tax receipts, our tax base, and grow our population so that we have enough soldiers as we have in our barracks. We need enough soldiers in our barracks. We need to pay them wages from our government budget. We need to buy goods for them from the government budget. We also need a domestic arms industry so that we don't get cut off from international markets. We don't rely on small arms and artillery from international markets. We need grain, so we need to pay for this and produce these goods within our own little market so we can actually take on the Ottoman Empire. We also want to befriend Austria or Russia, I guess, initially, so that perhaps they could actually help us, because frankly, no matter how much we industrialize, it's going to be hard to take on Ottoman, which is a great power with 250 battalions versus our 4. 4 is much smaller number than 240. Right. And so to the poor laws successfully progressed to the consideration. So we got lucky, guys. Yeah. So again, for those who are watching, second law we're enacting. Again, here we have a political movement, gives us 40% chance of success. For those of you who maybe just click on this episode, I go through the detail of how laws get passed in the previous 2 episodes. I might go over them again if we have the time, but I don't want to do it right now. But here we hit the 40% success chance from the support determined by the overall support of the movement, and so we went straight into consideration in the first 50 days. But in order to build up, coming back to our kind of strategic goal of gaining independence and uniting Serbian people, we're going to need the military to take on the Ottoman Empire, and that's why we are industrializing our economy. We are also improving relations with Austria and Russia so that we can get, some allies to help us. Russia would be the preferred ally because they can probably fight Ottoman Empire and Austria with us. Austria, good a temporary ally, as they do actually hold some of our fellow Serbians under their thumb. And we will have to probably fight to them eventually. There we are. And what we have done so far, guys, is we have built 2 logging camps and a construction sector, and we are currently in the process of building iron mines. We had 25,000 laborers, working adults unemployed. We're trying to get them employed as soon as possible to increase their standard of living, stop them from starving, which is having a negative effect on our population growth, right? And just generally radicalizing them as well. So that's our number 1 priority. Build about 5 buildings to create enough workplaces for these unemployed. We are also We have also, in terms of our politics, we have included the Orthodox Church in our government, and we have also, which allowed us to enact charity hospitals, which we have now enacted, which has decreased mortality and improved standard of living for all lower strata, again boosting our population growth now to 0.6, which is excellent. We are also in the process of researching pharmaceuticals to further increase the institution of healthcare, and again cut mortality and increase the standard of living for our lower strata, which is already at 6.8. Mostly, I mean, partly because of the changes I just discussed, but also partly because we cut our taxes to low since we could. We're currently chewing through our gold reserves as we're constructing buildings, but hopefully we'll be able to stabilize that and maintain low taxes, and consequently help our lower strata, given our taxes are mostly come from poll tax. Poll tax is a flat tax on each individual, therefore they affect lower strata more. We have cut that to low, putting money in people's pockets, increasing their standard of living, again raising their population growth rate even at lower strata, and generally making them more loyal and happier. Right, to that end, we can probably even go to speed 2 and just observe, right? And let's have a think. And as I mentioned, our number one priority right now is to increase our population, right? Increasing our population provides more labor, so we, the scope to build buildings, productive buildings, and increase our GDP is larger with more workers. Not that we have a shortage now, but just in at least near-term future, we will actually employ these peasants that are currently working on subsistence farms fairly quickly. I'm talking like 20 years time. But so it's good to get this set up from the early game, just for them. Maybe someone doesn't know, but mathematically, something that grows at 1% doubles in 70 years. That is just mathematical truth. It's called the law of 70. Now, something that grows at 0.6 probably doubles roughly in about 100 years. So by the end of the game, a population just in northern Serbia will be about 1.6 million, right? If you grow this to 1% or above, it will more than double, right? So it actually makes a big difference over time. Now, obviously, 100 years the game is over, but even in 50 years, growing at 1% will actually add like 400,000. So our GDP and number of soldiers we can hire, our economy should increase by 50%, as long as we can maintain that at 1%. Now, there you go. Poor Laws has attracted new supporters in increasing enactment chance by 15%. So unfortunately, it didn't progress to the next stage, but it did trigger the advance event, I guess, just a positive event. Interestingly, guys, actually, why don't we talk about this here? We do have a stall chance, which we did not have when we were enacting charitable hospitals, because with charity hospitals, everyone just didn't care, and Orthodox were indifferent to them, whereas Orthodox Church wanted to pass them, right? Which is why success chance was positive, and stall was near. But here, landowners actually, as you remember, oppose poor laws. They don't like them, and so end of discussion factor. The presence of an end of discussion factor represents that interest groups in government considering further discussion of the merits of the law currently being enacted no longer useful. The lower this factor gets, the more negative pressure it puts on the possibility that the enactment may advance or stall. So 0.55 multiplied by it lowers the landowners' landowners have 45% clout. They're by far the most powerful interest group in our government for various reasons, which again we discussed at kind of towards the end of last episode. But now they have the end of discussion factor, so it's only 25% chance that they will stall at the next checkpoint, stall this law, because remember, they don't like it, so they want to put a wrench in this legislative process and just do everything they can to delay or even stop the enactment of poor laws. And it is possible to stop this, because if we did hit negative events 3 times and we get 3 setbacks, then this poor law would simply get abandoned. It will not be enacted. It will be the opposite, and we'll simply go back to not having this law, and we'd have to wait 2 years to even attempt to pass that law again, right? And while all these delays and this potential big delay from 3 setbacks can happen, right? While that will be happening, we'll be gaining 640 radicals every week. That is not good. We're already back up to 4,000, right? That is not good. It's not good. Fortunately, they're mostly politically unaligned, so they're not affecting our interest groups. But they are, right, increasing. There's also no turmoil. Turmoil will show up here if there was any. Interesting. GDP. Current annual GDP contribution. That's really odd. Okay, let's see. Some sort of bug. Interesting. I don't know why this is 130%, guys. If anyone knows, let me know down in the comments. I think this is kind of a bug. I don't know why this shows higher GDP than our nation. And it's declining. Yeah, so I think maybe it's just a bug after we... I didn't reload the game. I just continued, but anyway. Now, we're actually very close to building iron mines. So we should think about, we need one more building. And I would suggest, in fact, hang on a second. Prisons of the poor. Oh, so we had another checkpoint in our law, and we have a stall event. Oof. So the landowners actually managed to put a wrench in the legislative process, and let's see what happens. Some social reformers among the intelligentsia have spoken out against the proposed poor laws, viewing them as an attempt to make poverty itself a crime. If I may bring your attention to the design of the most ambitious workhouse plans, you may notice a striking similarity to our most modern attempts at constructing ideal prisons. This is because they are prisons. Prisons intended to house people who have committed no crime, where the purpose is not justice, but punishment and exploitation of the weak for its own ends. So it's a stall event and negative event. So what are the choices we have? The poor are a burden on society, a crime in itself. And that will give workhouses prison comparison. Well, poor laws is being enacted, giving minus 10% enactment success chance, right? Basically taking it longer to enact effectively. Or intelligentsia gets -2 interest group approval. Or we say there must be a way for this new system to respect personal liberty, and that would give -20% enactment success chance. Right now, for us, we're at 55%. We don't want this to to last forever. We want to pass this quickly to satisfy this movement, get rid of radicals, and gain loyalists. Right, since we have started off on this path. Right, so effectively trading off 10% enactment success chance for -2% approval of intelligentsia, which is frankly, it's okay. It's actually is influential. They're already annoyed with us, so they could be even more annoyed at us. But they're already giving us -10% prestige because they currently have a trait activated of social criticism. People in power often think they're beyond reproach, but authority does not make someone's ideas interesting. We have a lot of interesting things to say, and we know exactly who to say them about. Right? So intelligentsia in our country are currently, of course, treacherous, as they normally are, right, from the perspective of autocrats, and are socially criticizing us, giving us -10 prestige on the world stage. But that's fine. We're in no danger of losing our minor power rank. We're comfortably above the minimum required, so we can just say the poor are a burden on society, a crime in itself. Let's go ahead with that. We'll lose 10% enactment chance. And sure, intelligentsia gets even more angry, but do we really care? No, of course we do not. Who cares about intelligentsia? There we are. So, sorry, what was I talking about? I was talking about what do we build next? So let's go ahead, pause for just a second. We're 3 weeks away from building iron mines. What is the next building we're going to build in northern Serbia? Pardon me, sorry. And we have a choice again. I would say our choices are another iron mines, which would be profitable, 0.28k. Or do we build tooling workshops, which would be really profitable? I would suggest we build iron mines first, because they're faster to build. It's only 25 weeks. And then we build tooling workshops finally. I would suggest we queue that up. We unpause. Keep the game rolling. 2 iron mines. Go have a look here. We have a little current situation. Actually, paper in the Ottoman market is expensive. So we could build paper. Paper mills cost 600. So we're better off building tooling workshops because they will be even more profitable. The more profitable the building, the more increase into our GDP, the more tax we get, and the pops that work there and the pops that own it are better off increasing standard of living, which is further raises taxes, further raises population growth, and makes more pops more loyal, which is why we want to build profitable buildings. But let's keep going. And the good thing, we are building the fact that we are a protectorate of the Ottoman Empire, as I have said in the first episode. Here, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because again, we don't lose any autonomy from being a protectorate. All that happens is we'd have to contribute 50% of our convoys, which we don't even have, right? And the second-ish kind of little constraint is that we have to be part of the Ottoman Empire. They effectively forced us to be part of their market. But that's not necessarily a bad thing for us. It'd be hard for us to survive on our own. For example, right now, the iron mines, right, they would be hugely unprofitable. If we were a market of our own, just one province, we don't have a single building that actually takes in, right? No one consumes iron in our market. So the only place to put it to is to the rest of the Ottoman market, which is what allows us to build these iron mines, employ our pops, and actually right, sort of sell this iron. Let's actually see, are we able to sell this iron? 34 minus 27% compared to Ottoman base price. On a minute. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to buildings quickly and just put our tooling workshops in first. I'm a little bit surprised by these iron mines not being profitable. So let's just keep an eye on this. Now, tools are really expensive. That might be one reason why it's not profitable. So that's why I prioritized building tooling workshops. Ooh, Orthodox Church used to be influential. Now they're powerful. Let's go ahead and review this. This is what we've been working towards by bolstering the Orthodox Church. It now has 20% or 21% clout, so above 20%. That makes them powerful. That means if the traits are activated, which depends on their approval, which in turn depends on what laws we've passed, up to a benefit of 5. Also, the recent law changes we made, which gives us currently +9, which is decaying from +10 over 5 years to just +1. And we get +1 from leader tactful, but also 8% from political strength of interest group is loyalist. So it's great. And now we're getting... okay, let's go ahead, pause just for a second. We're getting +5% birth rate, so which +100%. So excellent. Our population growth should not be booming. Now, what happened is we reached another checkpoint in poor laws, and unfortunately, we actually even gain a setback. Let's have a look. While enacting a law, you may suffer setbacks. This could be due to a stall result at the enactment checkpoint, a consequence of a debate, or the enactment success chance fell below 0. If you accumulate 3 setbacks, as I already mentioned, the enactment fails. If the enactment fails, you will not be able to attempt to enact the law again for 730 days. Everything as I said, it seems we've hit a stall. So the landowners, and I guess others, are successfully throttling our attempt to enact poor laws. Even though it had a pretty good success chance, we're just getting a little bit unlucky. I mean, 30% chance, I guess. Fine. Russia is annexing time to play against Orta-Zhuj. So annexing things, and I guess Kishi-Zhuj, Orta-Zhuj. The unrecognized power, kind of the remnants of the Golden Horde, probably. Fine, doesn't really concern us all that much. Let's have a look. Have a look at our iron mines. Unfortunately, it did not turn out the way we wanted to. I would have thought. Hang on. Is it just tools? There are no tools in the Ottoman market. Is that right? There's no... Wait, hang on. Ottoman market. There are tooling workshops, but the buy orders are far outweigh the sell orders. So yeah. That is unfortunate. So we urgently need to build these tooling workshops, and that is a shame because we keep that means we have unemployed people here. We have iron mines where people are, well, at least they are not being fired because they're just simply not being employed. That is frustrating. We're kind of wasting 36 weeks or even more, 40 weeks of having an extra 4,000 people unemployed. But so be it. But while we're waiting here for our laws to pass, for our research to be done, and everything, why don't we have a look at our population and just have a look how in just 18 months, how the population of our country has changed. Right? So when we started the game, remember we had 75% peasants, and we still do. We had, I think, 70% laborers, and we still do. Right? We had clergymen, servicemen, aristocrats, but we now actually have 11,000 shopkeepers, right? 11,000 shopkeepers. We have farmers we had, bureaucrats we got, and we got clerks, right? Still Serbian, still 100% Orthodox. Now, and therefore that changed the political strength split, right? And therefore clout. Well, sorry, not political strength, which okay, then translates into clout when they actually support certain groups. But in terms of political strength right now, aristocrats hold 58.7%. So 60%. There's while there's only what 14,000 of them. So we see where are they? Aristocrats, 12,000 aristocrats. They hold 60% of the power. Now, another stall event. Oh, crazy. So this is quite unlike bureaucratic imbroglio. Lawmakers working towards the enactment of poor laws have found themselves mired in a particularly complex set of bureaucratic proceedings, grinding work towards reform to a near halt. The fully developed bureaucratic apparatus compares with other organizations exactly as does the machine with the non-mechanical modes of production. That is to say, the teeth of its individual gears meet in accord, where its gears will gnash and churn until it eventually breaks. Now, damn this labyrinthine legal system. Serbia gets mired in bureaucracy while poor laws is being enacted, which gives us 20% enactment time between checkpoints, which is currently... I'll just pause and explain this, right? Currently, our checkpoint kind of time, a law enactment time, is at least 50 days because it's base of 100 days. Minus 25% of having a righteous government, minus 25% from legislative efficiency, from having surplus bureaucracy. So 50 days, this would give it plus 20 times. So every checkpoint, right, before we even take a chance on what's going to happen next, is going to take 20% longer. So I guess it's about plus extra 20 days. And we also get minus 10% success chance. Pretty bad. Or we can say cut through at least some of the red tape, which means we get 10% enactment chance, not too bad. Serbia gets working against the system for 5 years, which gives us minus 5% bureaucracy for 5 years. And plus 10% of bureaucrat pops in Northern Serbia become more radical. Oof, no, I don't want that. Let's go ahead and unfortunately just say, damn this labyrinthine legal system. And the reason for that, I don't want to lose 5% bureaucracy, because that would slow down our construction, which we don't really want. We need to build up and stop those people from radicalizing, increase our GDP, etc. We need to do that quickly. So we don't want to lose the 10% state efficiency bonus, 10% state construction efficiency from having excess bureaucracy. And sorry, I think I just said that it was from bureaucracy. It was actually from authority that we get minus 20%, 25% enactment time from excess authority. So I don't want to lose bureaucracy. And 10% of bureaucrats pumps become more radical. I mean, how many bureaucrats do we have? 5,000. So 500 radicals we would get. We'd lose... Yeah, to be honest, that's less than 600 we get per week from not having this thing enacted as quickly as possible. So those 500... So radicals don't really matter. 10% enactment chance would be good. The minus 5% bureaucracy I don't like. The total generation of 100 bureaucracy is due to... So we generate 100 from base. Okay, so we would lose 5 bureaucracy. Maybe this is actually a good thing, yeah. Let's cut through at least some of the red tape. Right, that's fine. We're still in excess here, just barely. Barely above 46. So as population grows, we will actually hit this. So we might actually lose a little bit of that bonus. But I think overall probably that's worth it. Now we have, you see these 500 bureaucrats. Yep, as we calculated. 500 bureaucrats became more radical. So unfortunate. What does that actually mean, for example, though? Right, so bureaucrats become, let's have a look. Population, charts, detailed list. Let's have a look. Bureaucrats. Let's have a look. Who are they? Most of them are Serbian, Orthodox, obviously. No, they're Serbia. They work in the construction sector. Now, bureaucrats are officials responsible for administration of government functions and infrastructure. Politically, they tend to align with the intelligentsia or petite bourgeoisie. Now, in our nation, we have 2,500. 500 of them work, 2,000 are dependents. They mostly support intelligentsia, so when they're radical, intelligentsia doesn't like us, but intelligentsia already hates us. 20% of them are landowners, support landowners, and 15% support Orthodox Church. So they're kind of sprinkled. Those 500 radicals are sprinkled all over the place, so it doesn't really matter. Intelligentsia is even less happy with us. Also, actually, 9% of political strength of interest group is loyalist. So net, we're positive. So that's okay. The most important thing for us now is to keep the birth rate. So we want to keep Orthodox clout at above 20% and their approval at least 8, right? So we have 7 to play with. Which means that Orthodox Church, so over the next, where is this? Where will this say? How will this will decay? Okay, it doesn't show that anymore, but this will decay over the next sort of 4 years or so. So we need to get more loyalists into Orthodox Church, hopefully, to maintain that birth rate. So we're at 0.7. So we have 6,000 people added to our population every year, right? A quarter of them will actually work, so you could say about 1,000, about 2,000 workers per year we add, right? At 6,000 people we can tax, etc. Let's go ahead to speed 3. We can have a look at our iron mines, still not employing people, right? But okay, this is unfortunate, but it's a good example. Let's see why, right? We built 1 level. So basically the price of iron isn't even that low, right? It's minus 15%. So it's actually a decent price, but what making this building unprofitable is the fact that tools are so expensive in the Ottoman market. Let's have a look. Again, consumption, that's locally. So northern Serbia, we're consuming half, producing nothing. But in the Ottoman market, buy orders are 238, where sell orders are 121. Right, so a lot of tools are needed. The good news is that when we build our tools, again, poor laws is failing to get traction, stalling progress, and decreasing enactment successions by another 15%. Plus, every time we hit stall. Wow. 3 times already. Even a setback. That is a little frustrating, because as you can see, guys, I mean, it does start to add up. We are getting more and more radicals. Thank God they're unaligned. Otherwise, they would start getting our interest groups angry. The armed forces are already angry, as is intelligentsia. That's giving us plus 15% military goods cost, but we're not buying that much. Prestige also doesn't really matter. We can just safely ignore these for now. But yes, iron mines is unprofitable, right? Because they have to pay wages. They even stop. And you see, the effect is they're not even employing people, right? Employed to some extent, basically, but these people, nothing's really changing. So we'll see. This will be an interesting case study, though, to see how this changes when in 22 weeks the tools are built. Let's go to speed 3. But overall, have a look at our pops, for example. Another thing we can see is, for example, if we look at our laborers, we have 35,000 working in logging camps. They have a standard living of 10. These guys, we built logging camps, and so most people who are employed in logging camps used to be unemployed, right, when the start of the game. But now they went from starving, they went to actually impoverished, right? Why? So they're like doing really well, right? So they have 10 from wealth, and there's sort of a half a point from charity hospitals being at level 1. All right. So life for them is good, right? And day laborers, let's just have a look. Day laborers, farmhands, and others with little to no employment security, performing whatever work is available throughout society. They are usually not engaged in politics, but may get involved through trade unions. Mostly support rural folk, Orthodox Church, armed forces, and trade unions. Now we could, in fact, you know what we could do? We could go here, you know, I guess rural folk. Let's have a look actually how clout has actually changed over time, right? So far, the landowners have lost clout. What does that mean? That means there are fewer pops. Fewer pops have started supporting them. Okay, poor laws have successfully progressed to the adoption phase of law enactment. Nice, we actually hit a success chance. And we hit that the first time. Okay, so we weren't all unlucky. So we kind of stalled 3 times in consideration phase. But now we actually progressed to the adoption phase. You can see the end of discussion factor interestingly changed. I'm not actually sure what that is. The presence of an end of discussion factor represents that interest groups in government consider further discussion of the merits of the law currently being enacted no longer useful. The lower this factor gets, the more negative pressure it puts on the possibility that the enactment may advance or stall. Yeah. But unfortunately, stall it actually grows. I'm not sure why that increased. Interesting. Maybe it increases as we progress through phases. I'm actually not sure about this, guys. Yeah, because it used to be 0.55. Now it's increased. Maybe it's because of a setback and they smell success. Let's see. Event in northern Serbia. Blessed are the meek. This is just a random event. It is not related to the enactment of the law. The Orthodox Church in northern Serbia are assuring peasants, Serbian Orthodox, that despite the harsh conditions of their lives, they are serving greater good of the Serb nation. Serfs shall be rewarded in the hereafter for their service. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. We can imbue them with loyalty to the state, and that's plus 50% loyalists from standard of living increases for 9 years. Excellent. Or absolve yourself of impure thoughts. That means minus 50% radicals from standard of living decreases. The choice right now, it's both are viable choices, but we're going to go with the first one. Plus 50% loyalists, right? And again, as I mentioned before, whenever a standard of living of a pop increases, 33%, I believe, of them become loyalists. Poor laws has stalled. Oh, enactment extends down to 15%. Really? Come on, guys. We're in like last innings here. Just get it over the line. But in any case, yeah. So, but now we'll have, I guess, what, 45%, I'm thinking, of pops that have their, of peasants that have their standard of living increased become loyalists. And we will have a lot of peasants moving out of subsistence very soon once we finish building up these buildings. Once we build these 2 buildings, we will employ all of the unemployed. Sorry, in rural northern Serbia. Once that happens, we will start employing peasants. And every time we employ them, their standard of living will go up because their current standard of living is a mere 7, right? From wealth and from charity hospitals. But if we look at our laborers, for example, which they are most likely to sort of upskill to, that would be right. They have a standard of living of 10. Now, what we have just seen is that some people in this nation are starting to drift towards rural folk. That is not something we want. And sorry, and actually before we were looking at that, we were looking at how the clout has developed. Now, landowners have lost clout. Why would that be? Either pop stopped supporting them, or they became less wealthy, because we haven't changed any other or actually they became average wealth, right? Yeah. So from wealth 60,000, yeah. Serfdom 2%, yeah. So perhaps it's because we are bolstering Orthodox Church, and aristocrats, for example, are migrating from supporting landowners to supporting Orthodox Church. Possible. But the poor laws is failing to gain traction, stalling progress and causing the law to gain a setback. Oof. Another setback, guys, right? And one more setback and this will be abandoned and we can't enact it for 2 years. Oh, interestingly also, actually, I guess the radicalism is not growing because the movement is placated, right? Wait, does that mean we're not gaining radicals? Most impactful factors are standard of living below expected minimum. Oh yeah, okay, so while we're enacting the law, it seems like this... Okay, Great Britain is bankrolling us. Decided to bankroll our country for a sum of 10% of our tax income each week. Over time, this may cause us to owe them an obligation, which makes they will be able to sway us in diplomatic plays. Okay, that's good to know, but they're doing... Thus, we don't mind owing them an obligation, I think. But you'll see, we're actually building up... We still have some gold reserves left. We're actually back to building up a surplus. So, yep, that's always welcome. That means we can pay for our construction sector and still maintain a surplus. Now, we are starting to build tooling workshops. Oh, in fact, they're built. We're starting to fill them up. And there's incredible demand for tools. There's a little bit of local demand, right, from our iron mines. And there's definitely a lot of demand in the broader Ottoman market. So the building should be very, very profitable. That's good. It's hiring shopkeepers. There you go. Hiring laborers that were previously unemployed. Hiring shopkeepers. There used to be shopkeepers in iron mines. They just migrated the building because this building is more profitable, right? And then, but the other unemployed guys will migrate to being shopkeepers in iron mines, right? And whatnot. So the ultimate effect will be that our unemployed become employed. Austria sides with Greece while playing against Greek aristocratic revolt. Okay. Well, let's see. But as our tooling workshops fill up, our iron mines should also start to fill up because you see they've turned, the weekly balance has turned positive. That is excellent. All right, so producing more iron. Now, however, because of our construction, we actually had our other iron mine queued up. So we're building another iron mine. But what's also happening is that the private sector is also building an iron mine. And how does it do that? Now, the way it does that is that there's this thing called investment pool. So reinvestment from POPs with ownership shares is deposited into the investment pool where it becomes available to construct buildings. The country's current economic system law permits it to be built with these funds. As construction of such buildings takes place, the funds required to build them are deducted from the investment pool and deposited in the treasury as an investment pool transfer. So let's go ahead now, budget. We'll see here, investment pool transfer right now is plus 579, which is helping overall budget surplus. And that kind of simulates the fact that some POPs that own buildings, so ownership type POPs, for example, let's say logging camps. Logging camps are owned by shopkeepers, right? And shopkeepers, you see, this building is very profitable, and we get 747 profit every week. Ownership shares dividends is paid out 709, and that goes towards increasing the shopkeepers' standard of living, etc. But some of it is reinvested, right? Now, at what rate is it reinvested? It differs from POP to POP. In fact, sorry, it is ownership POP, so shopkeepers, actually, I don't want to say something wrong. So we'll go to our empire overview and go to modifiers. Actually have a look. Sorry, we'll put this to speed 2. So, but as I mentioned before, if there's ever kind of a number you're not sure about, I found this tab to be quite useful because it does actually have a lot of the things we kind of want to know. And shopkeepers investment pool contribution plus 5%. Poor laws has attracted new supporters, increasing enactment success by 15. Okay. Why is it still 15 now? Interesting. Okay. Not sure why this hasn't actually increased, but maybe I missed something. Okay. Okay, let's pause because there's now a few things going on. But look at shopkeepers. They contribute 5% of their dividends to the investment pool, although we currently have a minus 50% penalty from having the traditionalism economic system, which is a pre-industrial subsistence economy with little central control. Pretty terrible system. We're going to try to get off it, but we can't really now because it's a law that we have to enact, and we're kind of busy enacting other things. But shopkeepers put away 5% of their money into an investment pool, right? Which currently sits at 60,000. All investments are multiplied by 2.9 due to surplus gross domestic product. Okay. And currently they're spending that investment pool on new construction, and they decided to build iron mines. And the way they build it by using the construction sector, but we don't pay for it. They actually transfer money to us, to our budget. But what they also do is, for example, right now, you see the weekly construction allocation is 10.8, right? And the weekly construction allocation here, not sure we can actually see it, but it's basically about 2.5. And what that number is basically splits our construction of about 12.5, 10 from base, 2 from our construction sector, that's 12, and plus some 10%, right, the little bonuses that we have. But again, our traditionalism law, right, apart from setting these reducing investment pool for aristocrats, capitalists, and shopkeepers, unfortunately, this is just a bad thing, right? It also allocates 25% to private construction. So whenever we have private construction and our government, i.e. public or government construction, 75% of our construction capacity, of this 12 plus some bonuses, goes to, there you are, 75% goes to government constructions and 25% goes to private constructions, 3. And there are kind of some additional so additional bonuses accruing to that, which actually means that we're constructing at 10.8 rather than 9. But sorry, there was a diplomatic play that went away for the Greek aristocratic revolt. So I guess Greece is fighting aristocrats. Well, maybe they tried to change some laws, most likely, that aristocrats didn't like. We'll keep our country together, right? We're all for religion, autocracy, and nationality. We will not make the same mistakes. Now, we're building actually two iron mines, which is not potentially that great. Let's have a look at this. Okay, tooling workshops are also unprofitable. Very interesting. Very interesting and unexpected, if I'm really honest. Why are they? Hang on. Ottoman market. We are still part of the Ottoman market. We are. So why? Have a think. Tools. Try and understand this. Ottoman market price is 54. Our local price is 39. Fine, that's because of this market price impact, right? Which is basically really bad. It basically means, I will explain it again in a bit in more detail, but just tangentially, while it's a little bit relevant, just means that the prices we sell at are 28% below the Ottoman market price. So if we could up this, that would really help us. So it basically means that although tools are expensive in the whole Ottoman market, right? For us, we don't get that price. And the reason for that is basically because there's some inefficiencies, which you can think of as transportation costs or some sort of traders in between markets that are hawking, sort of selling, reselling the goods, is that we get a lower price in our local market. Again, things have improved. We actually turned back into weekly balance, or positive weekly balance. Interesting why that is, but we have employed more people, so that's at least good. So we're employing, okay, that's it. And fantastic, we have all of our unemployed finally employed, although iron mines still need to fill. Okay, interesting, they need more shopkeepers. Right, and latest employee changes, the shopkeepers left and went to work in tooling workshops. Interesting. Does this mean we do not have enough shopkeepers? We get plus 110 per month in terms of qualifications. Now, qualifications are determined by sort of the wealth level, and then you can actually have a look. Wait, hang on a second. Let's go ahead and... Oh, please. Okay, let's pause for a second. The legislative graveyard, stall event for the enactment of poor laws. After a series of costly and embarrassing setbacks, The sitting Serb government has decided to halt its pursuit of poor laws. It will be some time before political will exists to try again. Oh, that means we hit a third setback. And basically, despite us getting all the way to the adoption phase, the landowners managed to tank this legislation, right? Defeating lingered in the air, along with the stench burnt tobacco and spoiling liquor. Hopes crushed, ideas splintered, and desire spoiled. For better or for worse, the message was clear. Nobody wanted poor laws, but the men in the room. A long, treacherous path lay ahead to reingratiate the idea. Unfortunate and embarrassing, so it cancels the enactment of the law. That is not a great start, right? So you see, the poor people in our country are going to get more and more and more upset. We already have 15,000 radicals. Oh, dearie me. 20,000 people have their standard of living decreased. Apparently, I see we have a massive jump. So I think this is because, you know, they were placated, but now all of those people have accumulated and boom, a big jump in radicals. Let's have a look in our overview of our government. Where are those radicals? Those radicals, oof. Why are they in the Orthodox Church? Orthodox Church, who? Clergymen, where are the radicals sitting here? Oh no, sorry. Peasants, 135 radicals among peasants. Okay, so not so many. So it just shows 148, yeah, versus 911 loyalists. So overall, not kind of terribly affected for now. Okay, let's go ahead and pause for a second. Industrials left enact poor. Oh, right, enact poor laws. Okay, so they're no longer supporting it. So interest groups, so they're not supporting poor laws. Landowners' family ties activated again. Let's have a look. So let's trace this through. They're happy. They're happy because, again, we're not longer enacting a law they don't like, and they have more and more loyalists. So that's good. Orthodox Church keep being powerful. We keep having the birth rate activated. Armed forces have actually become happier. That's because there's, again, more loyalists here. Royal folk is actually happy. Intelligentsia is still unhappy. That's mostly because the laws we've adopted are completely opposite of what they want and what they think this country should, how it should be run. However, enact poor laws, radicalism has grown to medium, and that is because plus 30 from supported law enactment cancelled. Oh dear. Okay, so some changes made, so traits activate and deactivate among our interest groups. Mainly, I think because there's more loyalists have now kind of gained more loyalists among population as standard of living has continued to increase. This is probably because tooling workshops and iron mines has filled up, right? At this one level, it's almost filled up. Tooling workshops have filled up, which is great, right? It means popes have become richer, unemployed have gone away. In fact, even some peasants have now started to be employed. Now we are on track to build 2 more iron mines, which will struggle to be profitable, if I'm honest, because we don't have a lot of things that actually use iron. Where could we use iron? We could switch to wrought iron tools. That will produce many more tools, but again, make this unprofitable. So that's not necessarily want to do that. We just kind of want to hope that the Ottoman market will demand more iron from us. That would be positive development, because right now we're building 2 iron mines. What else can we build after that? Let's just have a quick look. So textile mills will increase demand for fabric, produce some clothes locally and maybe sell it, and we projected profitability is 35. Paper mills 36, but paper, we're not using a lot of paper ourselves. This is mostly, we could build it and then sell it in the Ottoman market. Not a bad idea. Furniture manufactories be 140 profitable. Arms industries could actually be very profitable, and they consume iron and hardwood, and that is something we'll need. So I would suggest go ahead and build some arms industries next to make use of that iron and, start building up our domestic arms industry, as we have, talked about before. Lay the foundation of our armed forces that will win us independence and unite the Serbian people. So let's go ahead, go to speed 2, and keep going. Now, meanwhile, we're in a slightly awkward position. Again, poor laws. We can't do anything. We can't enact the law because we've just hit 3 setbacks, and it's basically on cooldown for 2 years. We can't reintroduce it to the legislature, but it is hanging around there, and yeah, causing people to become more radicalized. Well, yes, yeah. Well, even passing dedicated police force is not going to help us because, again, dedicated police force only reduces radicals from standard of living decreases, not from poor laws. But something to think about. Okay. Okay. But while we're waiting for our iron mines to complete this, come back to what we were looking at. So clout for the landowners has decreased. Clout for Orthodox Church has increased, probably mostly because we're bolstering it. We haven't really built many buildings that have clergy, but we have bolstered it. So we, and plus we've passed charity hospitals, remember? So that gave it plus 10% political strength. That will increase further once we research pharmaceuticals and increase the level of our healthcare institution, which is set to charity hospitals, and then we'll have plus 20%. Now, armed forces have kind of increased, decreased. We haven't built any military buildings, so we haven't employed any more servicemen or officers. So again, unsurprising, is just random pops kind of migrating in between interest groups. Intelligentsia has largely decreased in their clout, right? And that's probably because it's aristocrats that support them. They probably flowed to Orthodox Church at the expense of landowners, intelligentsia, bureaucrats, similarly. Now, rural folk, 4.8. So kind of, I guess, I just hovered at the same rate. Now, we do have petite bourgeoisie actually growing massively. So let's have a look who, and actually industrialists also increasing. Let's have a look. Who is petite bourgeoisie? Petite bourgeoisie are shopkeepers, supported by shopkeepers, clerks, and laborers at the moment. But let's have a look, kind of an overview. So, proprietors of small shops, landlords with half a dozen tenants, frugal clerks with tiny pensions, and others who have more than the poor but less than the rich. Right? Oh, hang on. It's me or them. We have an event firing off. Let's go ahead and pause. This is just kind of a random event. Just to give some flavor to as our nation develops. So Milan Anastasievich, leader of the ruling landowners, interesting, has had enough of compromising with his coalition partners. He has demanded that either his collaborators follow his orders or landowners will never approve of their changes. That's what leaders are for, right? I lead, you follow. Sounds rather simple to me. If they wanted to lead, they could have been leaders themselves, but I guess no one else thought they could. It's my way or the highway. Now, who is this guy? First of all, go to our politics, go to our government. It's our landowners interest group, and every interest group, guys, you hear is a portrait. They have a leader. Now, a leader can affect it in an interest group in several ways. They have certain traits. For example, like as we saw here, the reason Orthodox Church gets one extra approval from us, because you see the bottom here, basically their leader has the trait tactful and gives +1 approval, right? Also, leaders have popularity, which again changes for example, the attraction of that political group. Let me see if there's anyone popular. No, actually don't have. All they can actually have popularity of -25, right? That means the popularity of a character measures the willingness of pops to follow them. Popularity can have different effects depending on the character's role. So maybe that's why also landowners lost clout, is because their leader is unpopular, right? Always, a little bit less popular. But and another thing that leaders bring, so they bring traits, popularity, and they also bring an ideology. And this either complements or adds to the other ideologies of the interest group, as I've briefly touched on before, or overrides them. For example, you can have like intelligentsia that is authoritarian and actually supports autocracy. That's possible. Except when that leader dies, right, then you get a new leader and he may become a Democrat. You could have landowners that are Democrats, right? Like, for example, we have Orthodox Church, but luckily it's authoritarian. But we're going to have Orthodox Church that's Democrat as well. I mean, I'm not sure if there's like hard restrictions, but what I'm trying to say is they can add a little flavor that changes from game to game and changes during the game as these characters die and new ones are elected, or they can be a scandal and they can be a duel, they can be killed, or a scandal and they can have to resign. But right now what we have is an event where Milan Anastasievich, this man here, he's a politician, interest group of landowners, he's a moderate. So this leader is considered a moderate in their interest group with no particular ideology of their own. That means he neither adds, nor overrides, nor contradicts any of the ideologies of his group. He just follows the standard, thinking of the landowners. He's Serbian. His popularity is neutral, just minus 25 from character trait arrogant, right? That gives him these traits give him other, kind of bonus analysis depending if they're a ruler, or if right now his bonuses are activated for being an interest group leader, or if he was a ruler or an agitator or a commander, he would gain different bonuses and malices based on this trait. But this character is known for their arrogant attitude. He's also a traditionalist commander, right? This commander is known for their firm belief in the more traditional school of thought when it comes to military organization. But here we are. Milan Stashevich, leader of the ruling landowners party, said enough of compromising with coalition partners. So this, I guess, triggered because we have landowners and we have Orthodox Church in our government, where we're only really allowed one interest group in government without penalties from a base of one, which is, I guess, we're autocracy, and therefore we like it when there is a clear leader, right? We're sort of supposed to have just one interest group. But we have two, so this event fires off. So what choices do we have here? What a ridiculous thing to say. Landowners get imperious leader demands denied for 5 years, -1 interest group approval, and Milan Stashevich gets -20% popularity. Or we say, very well, landowners shall be the leading force. As Orthodox Church gets -2 interest group approval, and Milan Stashevich gets +20 popularity. No, we want to favor the Orthodox Church. Landowners, to be honest, are pretty backward. They don't really allow us to pass any of the, I guess, even half-decent laws. So over time, we kind of do want their clout to decline. I think it's also natural. It's basically aristocrats losing power. Whereas we want Orthodox Church to not maybe grow too powerful, but we want it to be more powerful as we believe in it. And so let's say, what a ridiculous thing to say. Right? It becomes less popular. That means fewer pops will be attracted to the landowners. We did lose one approval, but it doesn't really matter. Even if we lose that trait, right? If they become neutral, we don't really need the influence in any case. And in fact, we stopped improving relations with Russia, and so we have influence available anyway. Let's go ahead and improve relations with Wallachia, just in case. We could even go ahead and improve relations with Greece, since they are also Orthodox, and who knows, and they're probably opposed to the Ottoman Empire, so we're kind of in the same boat. So why don't we go ahead and just improve our relations with them. Well, we're in November 1838. Let's get to January. Probably end the episode there, but let's have a look. Also, what is not particularly great is that we're building iron mines, and then we'll start building the arms industry. But let's see. Okay, they are actually turning positive. Unfortunately, we are about to unload a whole other mine and then another one later on from the private sector. We'll have a lot of iron. Now, I am hoping Great Britain again bankrolling us. Thank you. Okay, we might. There's a chance always that we'll have to owe them an obligation, but otherwise it's fine. We're just financing our construction sector free, even building up a surplus. Let's have a look. So production, we're producing 18 in our market. Generally in Ottoman markets, selling orders are roughly equal buy orders. But because we're not consuming anything in our market, our iron, and we don't have like good access to the Ottoman market, or this, you know, high transportation costs. You can think of it that way. Price for us is actually quite a bit lower, but still profitable. Okay, so we're still employing people. Okay, clergymen on wheat farms in North Serbia with 6 qualifying shopkeepers aren't willing to work for a wage of 537. They would accept a wage of 734. Okay, so we're starting to hit some snags in hiring higher qualified personnel, right? Now, we need shopkeepers, right? Shopkeepers, where do they qualify from? So aristocrats are becoming shopkeepers, servicemen, laborers, plus 13, so that's good. So we can leave that as is, I think. Because the way to increase the speed of someone gaining qualifications is to increase literacy. But if we increase literacy, that will increase slowly but steadily. It will increase minimum expected standard of living, which will make it harder for us to improve people's standard of living such that they become loyalists and remain loyalists. But another effect it would have is that higher literacy would reduce our population growth rate, which we want to, right? We're working on keeping as high as possible. But having said that, guys, again, okay, let's get it to January. Yeah, we're coming up on the hour. Let's go ahead, speed 3. Okay, now we have iron mines. Again, we're kind of building a 3rd level with our private sector is building a 3rd level. But you see, even the 2nd level, we haven't even fully employed level 1. But obviously, I think our market will try to employ these. The price isn't too bad. It will improve once we build arms industries. So let's wait for that to happen. And we'll see what we build after that. But, yeah. Let's go ahead, speed 2. Let's hit 31st of December. Happy New Year, guys, in 1838. We'll hit pause. We had 1st January 1839. We're 3 years into the game. And yeah, that will be the end of episode 4, guys. I believe we're 4 hours in. But as I mentioned, this is a Let's Learn series, so we are going over everything in great detail. Hopefully you're learning things. If you are, give it a like, maybe subscribe if you want to see future episodes. But in any case, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, leave them down in the comments. But bye for now. We'll see each other in episode 5, I hope. But bye for now.